It's our usual Wednesday 10 o'clock webinar, and I'm so glad to have you guys back. Albert, Bernadine, you're both here. Fantastic. We've got about 120 people that have registered for this that we're hoping are going to come on board. So we're going to get started though, always out of respect for those of you who show up on time. We're going to start on time. So here we go. Great to have you back. Isn't it interesting what's happening in the marketplace? Things are starting to move, ton of buyers, not enough listings. Interesting times, right? Those of you who've signed up for the Boundary Wise Academy and graduated, congratulations. Those of you who haven't, I hope today is gives you another reason, another motivation to do so. What we're going to focus on today is we're going to do a very quick webinar on how to use Protect Your Boundaries as a real estate agent, as a real estate professional. And those of you who know us know that we know how sensitive you guys are to, and rightly so, to technology companies coming in saying they're going to teach you something and then just pitching their product. That's not what we like to do. We hate doing that. However, so often over the last month, we've had emails come to us from people, from agents saying, can you just show us how to use Protect Your Boundaries? So we're going to do that today as a public service announcement, not as a pitch. If it comes across as a pitch, I apologize. You know that we've given you a ton of great education so far. For me, I think this is an important part of your repertoire. It's important to know where to go, how to use it, what you're looking for, and also where you can call for support. Remember, if you're a member of the Boundary Wise Academy and you graduated, it means that you can call anytime for free and get advice on how to use Protect Your Boundaries, survey plans, and all that kind of stuff, boundary due diligence and all those kind of things. But today I'm going to show you how to use the software itself. Okay, so for this one today, because I'm going to be clicking on a number of different screens, you don't want to watch me sort of trying to figure it out. I'm going to turn the video off on this and just go straight to, we're going to start off on a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so strap in, here we go. Good morning from Bradford. Nathan, you're back. Fantastic to see you again. So here we go. So how to use Protect Your Boundaries on every deal. Wherever possible, I'm going to try and speak to both the listing side and the buying side as we go through this, okay? So let's make a start. So what are those areas that you can use Protect Your Boundaries in? So here it is basically. You can use Protect Your Boundaries to find survey plans. You can go into our database of existing survey plans. We have over 2.5 million surveys in our database, all findable by address. We are absolutely unique. We have the biggest database that exists out there, and it is the most accurately placed in terms of the right survey being on the right property. So when you search for it by address, you can actually find what you're looking for. So you can find survey plans. You can do an easement check for free. There's absolutely no reason why you should not know if there's an easement on a property that you're listing or buying, and we give you that information for free. You can purchase a buyer's, seller's, or easement report of Protect Your Boundaries to support your deal. You can also buy individual registry documents. So you know, in previous webinars, we've talked about the parcel register, we've talked about instruments. If you don't want to buy a buyer's or seller's or easement report, you just want to go and get individual documents, you can do that. And of course, don't forget, we are a full-blown professional land survey firm. And as such, we also have surveys, more traditional services like get a new survey, talk to a surveyor. Now, those are rarely ones that you're going to engage in when you're buying or listing a property. But certainly as you support your client in the future, between sales, we know how important that is, these are areas that are available to you. So, now I am going to see if I can flip over to Protect Your Boundaries, because we're going to dive right in, okay? So, let me get rid of that. Oh, look at that. My goodness, technology actually works. I got to tell you, if we actually get through this without a massive glitch, I'll be really surprised. But it's a live demo, so you know what those are like, right? So let's do this. So Protect Your Boundaries, here it is. When you type in protectyourboundaries.ca, this is the homepage you come to. Listen, we haven't made it fancy, we haven't made it all graphic-y and glitzy. We wanted to get you straight to what you needed to get to. Now, there's two parts I want you to focus on this homepage. The first is right at the top, the text box at the top that gives us the ability to find your survey plan and property details. That's the place you're going to go to the most. Below that, you've got three general areas of the site that you can dig into for homeowners, for Ontario realtors, and for land professionals. If you want to go in and find more information, education, blog posts, things like that, go into that for Ontario realtors section to get more information that you can either share with your clients or familiarize yourself with more and so on. But what we're going to do is we're going to dive straight into where you're going to spend most of your time, and that is up here. So you're going to type an address in, and you're going to hit search. In this case, we're looking for 25 Mapledown Way. We just typed in 25 Mapledown. We hit the search button, and up came the option here for us. I'm going to click now. By the way, guys, I'm so sorry. We haven't figured out yet, and we tried. We haven't figured out how to get the mouse to show. It's a little frustrating, I must say, but also I'll speak through where the mouse is being pointed to, okay? Now let's bring this up as well. There we go. So I'll be speaking to where the mouse is. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the search button. It clicks, and up comes below that 25 Maple Way, Maple. We know that's the address we're looking for, and so let's click on that, and what's going to come up is, look here, let's see, one second. Click on that. What's going to come up is this, this pop-up screen for you. And we give you three options here. And this is an important part of your decision-making process. The first option is the official property page. This is the most comprehensive collection of data we have for this property. The second is just the map view. Just the map view, you get to see the map, you get to see how many surveys are on it, on that property, and you get to look at them. And third, PYB Pro, which is where you go if you're a land professional or if you're a real estate professional who just wants to buy individual instruments or registry documents. And we're going to go through all of these, okay? We're going to start off, though, with the map view, okay? So here's the map view. We're going to say, I'm going to click on, go to map view. And that'll take us to a map of Ontario. Then it's going to zoom right in. And it's going to give us, right in the middle there, our property, with the parcel fabric. You'll see the parcel fabric overlaid on top of the Google satellite image, so you can see that, right? And highlighted in green there is the subject property that we're dealing with. Now you'll notice two things I need you to focus on and notice, and you get this on GeoWarehouse as well. By the way, this parcel fabric here is from the province. We license it through our partnership with Terranet, and as such, this is exactly the same parcel fabric as you'll see on GeoWarehouse. So there's consistency between the two, and that's really important for you guys to know. The second thing to note is that you cannot, if you see this and you see that there's a particular property where it looks like the boundary between two properties is over part of the building or over the swimming pool or anything like that, you have to ignore that. You have to remember that the Google satellite imagery, while the parcel fabric is accurate, the Google satellite imagery sometimes is a little offset, depending on the angle from which that particular image was taken on at that time. So, you got to make sure, don't get freaked out. We often get agents calling and saying, oh my God, it's going right. I look at my screenshot from GeoWarehouse, it's all from you guys, it's going right through the garage. It's not, don't worry. It's there just for identification purposes. So in this case, what are we seeing? In this case, we're seeing that our subject property here, 25 Mapledown Way, which we've got confirmed up in the top here, in the top left-hand corner, we're seeing that 25 Mapledown Way, there's a little file icon with the number 4 in it. What that means is that in our database we have identified 4 survey plans that we have identified as being valid in a real estate transaction. We go through every single survey plan that comes through our inventory to determine whether or not it's something that can be used in real estate. And so that's an important thing for you to know, that when you come to us, we've actually been through them. So let's click on the little number 4 and let's see what comes up. Here's what comes up, another pop-up window. And this pop-up window now tells us that for 25 Mapledown Way, we have 4 survey plans. Remember the little icon that said 4? There we go. So volume up, and you're still having, let me see, let me turn the volume up a little more here. Let's see if that works a little better. Is that better, guys? Hopefully it is. Forgive me, I lost my earbuds this weekend, and so I'm having to do this through the computer. So let me know if this is okay, Karen, okay? And Norma. So, and I'll speak a little louder as well. How about that? So, for 25 Mapledown Way, we have 4 survey plans. Now, it's really important to remember from one of the previous webinars that we did that there are different kinds of survey plans out there that serve for different purposes. The one type is the public plan. The public plan, which includes everything that the registry office holds. So things like registered plans, subdivision plans, reference plans. These are all public plans. And if you remember, typically they don't show buildings and structures. They will just show the outlines of the lots, which is valuable. Well, better, good. All right, Karen. Better volume, which is valuable in some ways, but not as valuable as private surveys. Private surveys like building location surveys, surveyors' real property reports, which are rich in information. They give you all the structures, they give you fences, they give you encroachments and all that great stuff. Okay? So in this case, what we're seeing is that we have two legal surveys, private plans, and we have two public plans, a reference plan and a registered plan, plan of subdivision. So here you've got a really good view of what we have in our system. Now, if you click on, if you want to see what this plan is all about, you can click to see a preview. So we're going to click on this first one. It's going to load the preview image. It does this on the fly, by the way. That's why there's a little bit of a pause there. And so what we give you is enough here. We have to blur it and obfuscate it a bit for obvious reasons. But what we give you is a good enough view of this plan that you're able to make a decision as to whether or not it's something you want to purchase. Now, if you are in any way unsure, if you look at this, maybe there's 2 or 3 and you're not quite sure which one to choose, you call us, please call us. Call Protect Your Boundaries, and Amanda or Dino will help you out, will help you figure out. They are experts in knowing the best plan for the job. So please, if you come here and you're unsure between 1 or 2 or 3 of them, then give us a call and we'll help you out. But assuming this is one that you like the look of, you follow the buy button there and away you go. And from there you go enter our e-commerce system. It's like buying anything else online, guys. Credit card, and you download a high resolution PDF of that plan. Not that low res blurry thing we had up there, that preview image, a high resolution PDF. Okay? Now, also really important, if you click on the registered plan or the reference plan preview, understand that we're not going to show you a version of the actual plan. We're not going to show you a blurred version of the actual plan. What we're going to show you is the footprint on the parcel fabric of the lots, of the parcels that this particular plan covers. Just to give you a sense of, yeah, this is the area it covers. We don't have access to the plans themselves from a preview perspective. You'll notice the difference in price. You'll notice the private plans cost anywhere from $250 to $400. In this case, they're $348. Whereas public plans are $75. Why the difference in price? The difference in price is there's a difference in the value in a real estate transaction. A surveyor's real property report, 348 private plan there, is so rich in information, it's so valuable, so much more so than a public plan, hence the difference in price. We're also restricted by the province as to how much we can charge for these as well. So that's where the price difference goes. Don't allow your client, or for yourself, don't always go for the cheapest version, because that might not serve your purpose. Guys, it's $350, it's not going to break the bank, it's a great insurance policy. So that's how you use this portion of this part of Protect Your Boundaries. Now, one more small thing. We've tried wherever possible to help you understand what you're looking at, how you use it, where you use it. So when you get to this page, if you're not familiar with it yet, pause and click on these links here. You see type legal survey, it's actually a link. I'm looking at the first thumbnail. The text next to it says survey plan dated 2005, price $348, type legal survey SRPR. And we're going to click on that. That's a clickable link. What that does is it brings us up a pop-up again that gives us plain English language description of what this type of plan is all about. It gives you our phone number that you can call us, or an email address if you're unsure. It tells you a little bit more about when to use it, when you're selling, when you're buying, if you're in a boundary dispute, or if you're doing exterior renovation or construction. Okay, so really valuable information there. Take a moment, print that off, whatever, and absorb. It gives you that extra piece of knowledge. And conversely, the registered plan of subdivision, it gives you an enormous amount of great information for learning there, and the reference plan, obviously. The reference plan pop-up. Okay, we'll miss that. So that's buying a plan off the map view. So we're going to get out of the map view now, and we're going to go back to here. Because what I'd like you to do is, for the most part, try and get to the property page. There's more information on it. You can always go to the map view. And incidentally, one of the values of being on the map view is that if the property you're dealing with, you're looking at it, and it doesn't have the kind of survey you're looking for, have a look at the next door properties and see if they might have a survey that includes your property on it. That's why the map view can be valuable if you can't find what you're looking for on the property itself. Again, call us, we'll help you out, we'll help you make that decision. But in this case now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the property page. So we've address, this pop-up's come up. Let's go to the property page. You see, this happened to me last time, didn't it? Live demo, guys, live demo. Let's do this again. Property page. Oh, live demo again. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We are going to, I'm just going to bring it up here. There we go. So, property page. Here we go. So, when you've selected this property page, this is our collection of the greatest amount of information that we've been able to put together on this property, not just survey plans. So, 25 Mapletown Way, Ontario. Here's the map view, and we've identified it, right? Now, the first most important thing that you're going to notice on this page is right in the area where it's in the top left black area where it says easements and right-of-ways 2. We're actually telling you that there's 2 easements on this property. We don't know what their nature is. We don't know to whom the right accrues, who gives up the right, who gets the right. We don't know what their nature is. We don't even know if they're still. They might be untitled, but they're not. They might have expired. None of that information is known at this point. However, it's an indicator. We're saying to you, our system has detected 2 easements on this property. That's really valuable, guys. Come and do this every single time you have a listing or a potential purchase. Come and see if there are any easements. And you know why that's so important. You've been to the other seminars as well, the other webinars. And so if we scroll down here, we can now see here are those 4 survey plans that we saw in a slightly different format, right? And here we've got the preview button, add to cart, and so on. So same information there. We also, on this page, we have another section called historical and other plans not suitable for real estate transactions. This might be topographic plans, this might be grading plans, this might be plans that haven't been signed but are still possibly considered decent, good. These might be plans that have been signed but represent the property prior to a major change. So prior to the land being subdivided, prior to changes in the land fabric. So we add those in this section here because we don't want to confuse it with the ones that are useful in a real estate transaction. But they're here on this page if you want to browse them and look at them. And you might say to us, listen, there's nothing. You might call us and say, look, you don't have what I'm looking for under the survey plan section. What about this one down here in the historical? Can I use that one? What a great conversation to have with us, and what a great question to be asking. And then finally down here, we have our reports for this particular property. So we've detected, as you can see here, easements, right-of-ways detected 2. So we've detected 2. We tell you here how we know. We tell you exactly what with the process we've gone through. We're not going to read this now, but we tell you how we determined that. Okay? You can download a sample report here. But this is essentially a report that just focuses on the easements and the description of the easements and all the registry documents behind that of this property. You can add to the cart. The price is dynamic based on the number of easements. In this case, it's $120. Then we have a seller's report. Now, this seller's report, both the seller's and the buyer's report, basically, we do a partial title search. We pull the registry documents, the parcel register and the instruments, and we pull the information out of those, put them in a buyer's report, add additional information. So you have a document here that you can, on the listing side, you can put it down, print it off, and provide it as part of the listing. You can add it, you can put it out at the open houses when we have those again, right? You can distribute them to buyers who are serious about purchasing this property. What this report does is it basically says, look, I'm giving you all the registry information that exists on this property, including easements, by the way, are in here. So if down the road you're accused of not disclosing something, and the buyer's trying to get out of the deal or trying to renegotiate a price, or God forbid you have a lawsuit after the fact as the listing agent, this can act as a way in which you have mitigated some of that risk on yourself and your client by saying, look, we disclosed all this information. If you didn't have the wherewithal to go and research it and dig into it, that's on you. We provided you this information. And on the buying side, the buyer's report does something similar. It gives you that basic information to understand easements, to understand a few extra pieces of information that we're going to look at right now. So let's dig into those right now, okay? Let me get rid of, let's go to reports. There we go. My goodness, this is actually working, you guys. So here's the easement report. Really nice document. You print this off, it looks fantastic. Incidentally, if you are a graduate, a member and a graduate of the Boundary Wise Academy, we co-brand these with you. So your logo goes on here as well, your name goes on here. Automatically we do that for you every time you buy. Not only that, as a member of the Academy, you get a discount on these too. So, all good, right? Okay, so we're going to do an easement report here for 1 Antonini Court in Maple. Let's scroll down a bit, and you'll see that we're pulling out information off from the registry, the address, the property identification number, the legal description, the PIN, and your easement document that we found here. And when we look at the easements, we know that we've detected that easement. We've noted that it's a subject to easement, which means that this property is giving up a legal right to another property or corporation for the purpose of them being able to access a portion of this property. We know that this is a subject to easement, and it's further described in the instrument called YR1443879. And here are the details of the parcel register and the easement instrument. So we pull that easement instrument, pull that information off those instruments, and either retype them or copy and paste them into this view. But then what we do, guys, is we give you a summary. We give you a plain English description down here of what that easement is all about, so that there's no ambiguity for you. We take that process out of the way for you, so you get something that actually describes it. And in many cases, the text above, in the easement language, ends up being pretty close to what we write because it's fairly self-explanatory. But in some cases, the easement language is medieval English sometimes, meets and bounds and everything else, and quite complicated. So we take the time here to simplify it for you so you can at least understand it and have that conversation with your client. And when you use this for disclosure on other reports, it's valuable. And then finally, here we go, easements together with. So you remember there's a subject to and a together with. On this particular property, there's no together with. There is no together with on this particular property. So that's exactly what we tell you here. And then we get into some phenomenal information here. This is standard for all our easement reports, but it tells you where does the information come from, how accurate is it, what is an easement? Are all easements shown on title? What is a parcel register? What is an easement instrument? And so on and so forth. A ton of great information here for your client, for your prospects, and further reading as well. So there you go. That's the easement report. Now we're going to switch over to the seller's report. It's a very similar format. So the seller's report, a 14 Cree Drive in Ajax. Now we load this up with a lot more information. Incidentally, the buyer's report comes with the parcel register and any easement instruments, and any instruments that we can find on that property. The seller's report comes with those, but we also add the plan of subdivision to it. So you get that as well. You don't have to buy that separately. That's part of the seller's report. We don't add it to the buyer's report because it's not as valuable on that side. On the buying side, you really want to get a survey that shows depth of information, a private survey, so that we'd encourage you to go and spend the additional money there, or find that better survey in one of the other from another source, like the seller, like one of the neighbors, that kind of thing. So, seller's report. Here we go. Property address, the date we prepared it, the report number. These are the official documents that we've attached to this report. And here we go. Legal description, what public plan this is on. It's on Register Plan 40M2252. We've given you some property size and geometry. We've given you, we give you the owner's name. Obviously, we've redacted that for this. The date of last purchase, the capacity, the ownership type, the transfer number of that last purchase, the amount of that last purchase. You remember, guys, we're always talking about adverse possession and all those rules and how they hinge on the status of the land and the date of conversion to that status. And here it is right here on this property report for you, or on this seller's report for you, right there. So you're disclosing that. And then, again, easement information, very similar to, now we drop into that easement structure that we had in the other report. So again, it's a subject to easement. Here is the official information for the instrument number, the date of that instrument, the parties to, and the details of it, and then we give you a plain English description underneath here that allows you to actually understand it. It's easy, right? And then there's no subject to again on this one, sorry, no together with on this one. And then finally we get into another expanded section where we talk about other registered documents on title, so you can see if there's anything else that is possibly of interest there, such as charges that we talked about in the previous one. And here, additional survey plans that might exist and client information at the bottom. And then we get into the educational aspect, boundary awareness and selling your property. It tells you a little bit about the value of using an agent, why you should be using an agent that understands this kind of stuff and uses these kind of documents. By the way, if you print off from our website the sample one of these, take it into your next listing presentation and show your client, this is what I'll do for you, and the kind of information that we're going to have available. Are the other agents going to do this for you? It's a great way of supporting that high commission rate. Risks that sellers take, what to disclose, and so on and so forth. Are you going to provide a survey plan? Can I use an old survey plan? And all that great stuff. We've got at the end here, we've got some definitions and glossaries, a glossary and some definitions. So guys, it's a really substantial document. And you might know all of this information, but to actually have it produced for you in a way that you can print it and supply it to your client, either to win the listing in the first place or as part of your disclosure, wow, incredible value. And so on and so forth. Okay? And finally, very quickly, because we're almost out of time here, the buyer's report, almost identical, right? Almost identical as the previous document, as the seller's report, except that we don't include the plan of subdivision. And at the end, let me scroll down. I hope I'm not. This isn't going too fast for you on your screen. At the end, the information and the documentation at the end of the education, the learning that we provide is all about the buying side. It's all about use of land and so on. So please take a moment, go to our site, go into this area here and download that sample document, and away you go. Okay, so that's that. We're going to quickly go back to protect your boundaries, because now what we're going to do is head back to, let's go to PYB Pro. So this is the Pro page, very quickly. Everything you've seen so far on the property page, you can get on the Pro page. So here's the Pro page for 25 minutes. However, in addition, what you can get, if you want, is you can buy just the parcel register right here. If you want, and this is the parcel register with the current instruments only, this is the parcel register with current and deleted instruments. These are registered instruments if you want to buy the instruments off us for this particular property. Other services that we provide for legal descriptions, land area certificates, review and notice of application. Remember, we're a full service land survey firm, so if any of your clients have any of these additional requirements, please pass them over here, and so on. And there are the survey plans again, and we continue to add services and products to this particular area. You're not going to spend a lot of time in here. You're going to be more on the map view of the property page. Okay? One final thing on protect your boundaries, and then we'll move on very quickly, and that is, if you want to get into the area of the site where we describe the other services that we provide, then you can come up here to products and services. You can take a look at something like get your property surveyed, and over here we go into great depth describing in plain English what this service is all about and how you go about ordering, or how you go about advising your client to order one of these. Okay? So, that's about it, guys. That's how you use protect your boundaries in a real estate transaction to support all this other great learning that you're doing. Let me switch back to our PowerPoint presentation now, right there. Look at that. Oh my goodness, this actually has all worked. I know there's still a chance for it not to, right? There's always a chance for it not to. So here we go. And so we've been through this, right? Find survey plans, do easement check, review and purchase buyer, sellers, and easement reports, get registry docs, and other survey services like get a new survey or talk to a surveyor. Now remember, if you're a member of the Boundary Wise Academy, you can call us anytime for any of these things, and we will help you decide which way to go and help you actually help provide you commentary on these things as well and advice. So, Boundary Wise Academy, very quickly as we finish up, guys. Boundary Wise Academy, as you guys know, it's an online education system that delivers to you education, video-based education, if you're an Ontario realtor. And there are 8 courses not taught by AREA, plus a whole bunch of extra information on there. 7 to 10 hours of video training. You can take it at your own pace. We get a lot of people sign up on a Friday, and by Sunday they've graduated, which is fantastic. Teaching assistant support, quizzes and exams all the way through. Those of you who have taken it, like Nathan, who we have online here, will attest to the fact that it's not necessarily as easy as some of the other courses you take. This isn't the kind of thing you can, click the space bar while you're watching Netflix or Amazon Prime. You've got to actually concentrate, take notes, learn something, pass the exams, okay? And obviously we give you multiple attempts if you need them, but the goal here is to get you really knowledgeable in these areas of great information. Things like how to read a survey plan, the A to Z of title insurance, easements and right-of-ways, condos 101, and it goes on and on and on. Really valuable boundary due diligence related related fundamentals, and those are the fundamentals. You get the knowledge, but also tools and resources and processes that you can add to your existing process to help you make you better, smarter, more profitable, more successful. And at the end of it, what do you get? It's really the two top things that are most important here. You get a professional designation. Once you pass, you become a boundary-wise agent, and you get the CBW, Certified Boundary-Wise Professional designation that you can put after your name. And we know that with what came down from the province and the government not too long ago, pre-COVID, they are really clamping down on agents who are promoting themselves as being experts in a certain area without having credentials behind them. This is a credential that counts. Credentials matter, guys. This is one you can get. A year of hotline support. We're not talking about as you're taking the course. Of course, we support you through that. This is what I was talking about earlier on. You get to call us as many times as you want. If you're a Boundary-Wise graduate or in the process, and ask us anything to do with the property, and if we can help you, we will. Regarding boundaries, boundary due diligence, easements, that kind of stuff. If you are not a Boundary-Wise agent and you call us, we're going to ask you to spend $150 for a base consult. So this is so worth it. And you get all kinds of other great stuff here. Fundamentally though, what it does for your business, it's going to help you generate more leads. It's going to help you win more listings when you're competing against other agents who don't have these credentials. It's going to help you protect that higher commission rate by giving you one more thing that one more arrow that you add to your quiver that helps you say, no, this is why I'm of value in this process and I can justify my commissions. This is why you pay me what you pay me. And finally, you're going to be able to complete safer, reduced risk deals. Something that can get found, the worst thing that can get found in a home inspection is something that's going to cost you maybe $10,000, $20,000. Finding a boundary issues start at that typically, and they can go into the hundreds, if not millions of dollars. This is a great way to help your clients complete safer deals. So come over to boundarywise.ca and check that out. Protect your boundaries out, but check out boundarywise.ca. The two go hand in hand for you. The two work hand in hand. And I know Jess is going to be sending out sending you out a new discount code if you're interested. And away we go. Oh, one more question from Lynn McBride here. What is the cost of a survey on a standard 1,000 to 1,200 square foot home in town? Now, Lynn, you're in Walkerton, so when you say in town, up in Walkerton, you know what? It depends, guys. I told you about the GTA here. You're looking to spend anywhere from, if you can get a survey for 2,000, I'll be surprised. But certainly in the GTA, you're looking at $2,500, $3,000, $3,500. And you're going to go, oh my God, that's so expensive. Understand that the most important part of doing a survey as a surveyor is the research aspect. And research for us means buying survey plans, the historical survey plans that allow us to look back in time and establish the chain of evidence as far back as we can to ensure that everything is as it should be from a title perspective and a boundary perspective before we go out to the site and take measurements. That research, each one of those surveys costs us anywhere from $75 to $150 or $200. And we never purchase, if we can find 10, then we go after 10. But that automatically takes $1,000 to $1,500 out of the equation for us, right? So that's the majority of the cost there. And one thing I would say to you is don't let your clients go with the cheapest surveyor, because that usually means that the research portion may have not been done as comprehensively as possibly it could have been. And it's the research that matters in getting it right. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. Now up in Walkerton, maybe the rates are a little lower, I'm not sure, but when a surveyor comes to you and you gasp because of the cost, understand that it's actually a phenomenal deal. You are getting not just a snapshot today, but you're getting all this historical check that goes with it, and now you have a legal document that says this is the land, this is the parcel, this is what's owned. Okay? So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's 10:36. Have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll tell you what the next subject is going to be. Please tell us if there's any subjects that you want us to cover that we haven't covered already. Email us at info@protectyourboundaries.ca and we will make sure we cover it. We'll see you next week. Have an awesome rest of the week. Stay healthy, stay positive, stay productive, and we'll see you guys real soon. Take care.